Hi guys, I'm here with Adam J. Judd from the Pattaya News, and today we're going to talk about being a bar manager in Pattaya. The reason I'm asking Adam is because you were a bar manager for 6 years?
5.
5 years?
5. For
the Nightwish Group. So, to start off, tell us a little bit about it. Tell a bit what it entails, salaries. I mean, we won't get into specifically for salaries, but what the job entails, what kind of person you need to be, what kind of personality you need to have, and also probably get into a bit more serious like the drinking.
Okay. So I guess the easiest way is first tell a little bit about myself. I've talked with Nick before, so you can see videos. I'm not going to give you guys a whole life description of me or anything like that. If you want that, I've got my own channel, Cheap Plug AJ Pattaya. You can look it up. Cheap Plug ended. So yes, I spent 5 years in Pattaya running a bar, and it went by like that. I was actually amazed how fast it went by. Some of you may have even been in my bar, may have drank with me, talked with me over the years from there. I did it longer than most people do it, especially on Soy 6, which is where I had the bar. The average person, I'd say, lasts about a year or two, and about 90% of people are not a candidate for the job as manager. So I guess I'll start with, what is a bar manager and what isn't a bar manager. A lot of people seem to think, and that music in the background is somewhere nearby, so disregard that. A lot of people think that a bar manager is a host. That role does exist in Pattaya, in Bangkok, and other parts of Thailand. But what we're talking about today is a manager, a person that is actually running all aspects of the business and not just sitting there and getting drunk with customers. That's more of a host who just greets people and sits and shoots the shit and gets drunk all day. Our role when I was a manager was to be responsible for everything in the business, from staff, recruitment, faculties, lights, customer problems, security, even right down to the ordering and what you have in stock, the music, the atmosphere.
So that was when you were a manager.
Correct.
Yeah.
Social media.
It's changed a bit since then, hasn't it? Now? Particularly the Nightwish Group, because they've got different departments, haven't they, now for that?
They do, but we actually, even with the Nightwish Group, we would still prefer a person that is able to go ahead and do all those aspects and still be a great host. As we do ask people to still drink with customers, have a good time, get drunk, greet everybody that comes in, but it's at the same aspect, yes, we've created departments that assist with that, but we also have some managers that are fully capable of going ahead and doing everything, and that would be the perfect candidate for a manager from there. So I guess the next part is, so what is a manager? Well, it's somebody that runs their whole business. What would you be looking for in a manager? What would an owner be looking for in a manager? An owner would be looking for somebody who is a true extrovert, somebody who is not afraid to talk. Like we're doing this improv, I have no script.
I've got no script.
Yeah, this is not something that's a struggle for me. A lot of people are not natural people, but they're desperate to get a job in Thailand and a permanent source of income here. That's good and all, and we understand that, but at the same token, it's not who we're looking for. We're looking for that guy who, they're charismatic, they're the life of the party, they're not afraid to talk to people, and this part is some of the most difficult. A lot of people are nice people, they're talkers, but they're not interesting. They have limited topics of conversation. You got to remember in Pattaya, it's not just British people, it's not just Americans, or Australians, or Indians. You've got tourists from all over the world. The best managers that I've seen are the ones that can step out beyond their own country's borders or their own cultural upbringing that usually doesn't include other countries, and be able to talk. I mean, I used to talk about cricket, English football, Japanese pop stars.
It really depends on the manager, on you, on your personality, how much of a customer base you build up. Because generally you get paid a basic, which is about a third of your salary. Then you get things for drinks, and then also a 10%, usually a 10% profit margin, profit cut.
It depends on how long you've been with the business and the owner. So it's a myth that bar managers in Pattaya only make 20,000 baht a month. I'm sure there's some out there, but they're mostly hosts working for Thai managers. Successful bar managers, especially with the Nightwish group, a very good, very successful manager easily makes around or over 100,000 baht a month. A good manager who has a good amount of staff that's well trained, both in the front of the bar in terms of your waitresses and hostesses, and in the back of the bar in terms of bartenders and cashiers, end up making the most money. Having to speak over a very loud motorbike, but that's okay. In terms of the actual money that you make, those guys that are fairly successful, about 50 to 70,000 baht a month on average from them. You mentioned drinks. You see a lot of comments online, oh, manager drinks, manager drinks. I am going to talk about that for a minute. Nobody's forced to buy a manager a drink. You're not held from there. No, they're not a girl, which guys see it as different. But some of these managers spend hours and hours of their time with customers listening to their stories, their problems, their hopes, their dreams, giving them advice, taking them out to dinner, out to clubs, showing them around town. And the fact that they're given a single drink as return for all of this insight and stuff that they're giving them, if you think about it that way, that they're working as staff and spending a lot more time than I can't tell you how many times I've bought a girl a drink in a bar, cheers, and walked away, versus bought a manager a drink and spent an hour with him talking about what's going on in life. You can obviously see where you got more value.
Also, on about the manager drink, it is like a compensation for poisoning your body.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, the more you drink, the more you're going to poison your body. So that's the way I see it, as compensation. In the very beginning, I'll be honest with you, I didn't agree with it.
A lot of guys don't at first until they kind of look at it from a manager perspective. Yeah. And at the same token, I strongly do not agree with any manager, and we've gotten rid of people for this, contrary to belief, who beg for drinks, ask people for drinks, tell people to come buy them a drink. It's unacceptable.
Totally unacceptable.
I never, anybody that knows me knows I never ever ask people for drinks. Anyways, that's kind of off topic, but bottom line is you can make very good money running a bar in Pattaya.
So the Nightwish group are looking for more managers. One thing we haven't touched on here is one of the skills that's very important. It's English. It doesn't have to be a native language, but it has to be kind of a primary language.
A primary language without an accent that's difficult for people to
like
understand. No, not at all. We get a lot of guys from. We've had Eastern Europeans. We've had Chinese applicants. We've had even some applicants from France and Germany who struggle a bit at English in an accent that many of our customers can understand. Contrary to belief, most of our customers on Soy 6 are still mostly British, American, Australian, and Scandinavian. We do get a decent amount of French and German also, but most of them are able to speak English. So when we get somebody from a country that it may not be your primary language, it's not that you're not a great person or a great candidate, but you need to be able to interact with people in English. I also want to touch base on age range. We welcome everybody. We're a non-discriminatory employer. I sound like my old field in HR, but the guys that are most successful in the job generally tend to be between 30 to 40 years old. The really young guys and the really older guys tend to struggle for two different reasons, because the younger guys tend to still be in party mode. It's a big problem, and not be able to keep a job for 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, wake up, be at work, be reliable. The really older guys generally can't keep up with the drinking, the schedule, the hours, the time frame involved, or in some aspects, even most customers these days, I'd say, are between 30 to about 55, 60. And the older guys sometimes struggle at being able to keep up with the culture, what's going on, changing music that's appropriate for the audience in the bar. So again, we welcome candidates, rap music, we welcome candidates from all ages if you feel that you've met everything else in the video.
Yeah. So anyway, the Nightwish group are looking for candidates for a manager because they're rapidly expanding regardless of what's going on in the world. So if you're interested, if you think you can do it, hopefully I haven't put you off. Hope Adam's hasn't put you off, because it is a difficult job. We're going to leave links in the description. I'll leave some articles that you've written.
Yep.
Go over them, and if you're interested, there'll be a link to apply if you want to come and live in paradise and be a manager out here.
And the bottom line is, the reason we went over so many no's or negatives or things is because we really want the right candidates.
Yes.
And for the right candidate, it's great money, it's a great city to live in, you're surrounded in a fun party atmosphere and environment, and it's an experience that you'll never forget.
Yeah, that's one thing, just because of the surroundings, the atmosphere, the party. A lot of people can quickly lose their minds.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so many people who come live here and they go on that path of destruction. It happens quite a bit actually, but you need to be the right candidate that is not going to slip away and hold it all together.
Correct. And one last thing I will say is that another type of guys are usually the most successful, which you're not in that category, sorry, is guys that are single. And I say this specifically because you're working in an environment with beautiful hostesses around you at all times, and some guys come to work with jealous or possessive wives or Thai girlfriends who want to get involved in the business. And at least with the Nightwish group, we're looking for you. We're not looking for your partner or significant other. So we're not saying that you can't have that, but they can't be in the bar where you work. The guys that are most successful are guys that have no sort of baggage or drama. I just want to add that.
Yeah, and doesn't want to keep any or get any baggage or drama.
Correct.
Right guys, thank you very much for watching that. I hope it's been worthwhile information. Like I say, in the links below, description, send Adam an email, send me a CV, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching guys. Cheers Adam.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.